questions that you might have around your file. Maybe there's a couple of things that we saw that could be improvements around the sort of some of the forms you had. So does that make sense for you if we do that?
Right. And as I pointed out, I mean, I had some specific queries as well.
Yes.
Not sure if you had some time to go through that email
Yeah,
which I sent.
I think Javier, you've
Okay.
had a look at some of those as well, so we can cover
Yeah.
that off as well. So just to let everyone else who's joining, just to know what we're doing is, so he'll send us in a Figma file that he wants us to have a look at to give us some suggestions of how to make it work with Bravo better. And what we're going to do is go through that today. And Javier is the master at this, so he's going to drive a lot of the sort of talking. So Javier, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah.
So he'll
Let
design,
me
we can talk about it.
Let me share my screen. There we go. Okay, so well, this is the file, and this is the version we started editing last week. But then Sahil, I saw that you made some additional edits this week, so probably you have changed this a bit. But we can go through. Well, basically, here we saw that you have like different forms that actually could be simplified a bit. So for instance, here you could even have like if you want to have, for instance, these two models, one with like 3 inputs and the other one with 4, you could delete the other 2 and use the binding. So that basically will save you a bunch of screens, and here you could do the same. So the thing is, to do that, you could create like I don't remember now where this screen was coming from. Here you could add here different links to like the different the different forms. You already have that, but you could have them bound to the same screen and then pass the data, for instance, using either here in the request you bind to this screen using some data parameters, or you can also use hidden inputs if you want. So that could be like 2 things you could do. So just so you understand, you would have here, this could be like a list request that you connect to a database, and that could get some data that then you can pass in to these forms. And depending on which element you click, you would go to like one or other. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just check, Sahil, with you? So, I mean, from when we looked at this, these forms all look very similar. It looked like the only thing was really changing was, I mean, the middle form has that area extra field, I think, but the rest of it, and I think possibly the drop-down lists needed to change for each different form. Now, is that right? Is that true across these forms?
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay.
And,
so I just want to say, so I mean, in fact, there's another improvement you can have as well. So obviously, one of the key things about Bravo is you want to make as much of these screens dynamic as possible, because that saves on your screens, and it just means there's less editing to do. If you make it dynamic and put the logic into the back end, it means you don't have to do repeat of the same patterns. So you could have, I mean, the title's the same, the sector area changes a little bit. So the drop downs could be fed from, as Javier said, from a API. So you can actually use an API to load the selections in a drop down list. So you could make that part dynamic, and then also you could actually go further, where you've just got the one field changing. You could actually make one of these fields conditional visibility, so that it would disappear for certain types of form. So you could actually compress, I think, all these 4 down to potentially one form, which makes it a bit easier for you to work with.
Yeah.
Correct. Noted. And I did come across the Integromat tutorial by app.monster, which I was very much inclined to implement here. If I'm just to recap, this is the same line of thought which is being suggested.
So well, you're actually, you sent us some questions about the So for the actually for the drop down, you wouldn't really need that complexity. It would just need to be
Okay,
connected
okay.
to a table where you have all the options. So it could be like an air table, and just yeah, you could have like a table with
Okay.
drop down options there and connect that.
It sounds like
All
this is
right.
something maybe we
All
should
right.
do a tutorial on for how to make different forms driven from dynamic data. That
Yeah,
could be a nice option.
yeah, true. We have like the page where we have the different input types, and we have a few tutorials, but that could be another one we could add. Yeah.
But there was also the point of view on applying the nested lists tutorial, which was already there
Hmm.
for such a scenario, and I I really myself had to wriggle some of my own uh, you know juggling to do to get the calls right for the different scenarios on data input which are applicable. So definitely let me take some time to rejig this in this with this uh, point of view.
Yeah. So the nested lists basically require some filtering and stuff. So for instance, you have like, I don't know, one main category and then subcategories, and then finally like items. That would be like three levels. So you need to have that like a table where you specify the categories and then create some nested records in the Airtable and then filter. So yeah.
Correct. Correct. Okay.
Okay, so I mean, as far as I remember, Toby, maybe you can help me. We were basically talking about how we could optimize these forms in this file, and then maybe some of these screens we did like remove some extra containers, if I don't remember bad. And then, well, you have like also several different screens. Actually, something that could be maybe useful for you, Sahil. Maybe you did that already, but maybe you could organize the screens a bit according to the flow of the app. So you would have like the first you would have
Correct.
the screens connected to
Correct.
the menu, and then you could have them like maybe that helps you.
Correct. 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 That exactly with this. So thank you so much for taking the time to looking at this file, because it would have been very strange to comprehend, and principally for ease of communication and the design narration, I had worked on the just the Figma space to uh, give a give a more structured workflow of how things are going on
Mhm.
inside the planned uh,
Yeah,
application.
yeah, and also
So,
if you apply some of these
hmm,
screen reductions, it will like also be easier to follow. So
correct,
yeah.
correct, certainly.
It might be
Yeah,
worth
I'm
us just
definitely going to dive into that. Hmm.
it might be worth just pointing out a few things. So just for the people that are watching elsewhere, one of the things that we notice here is actually you've got a lot of features in this
Yeah.
that that you're using a lot of Bravo. So I think there's the Stripe payments in here. We found
Yeah,
Javier,
here.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Stripe payments, and then I mean we've got the intro. We've got I've actually intro was something that we looked at trying to make some changes to.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, true. This is split screen to either sign up or login. Yeah.
Do you want to talk? Do you remember? Do you want to talk through that, Javier? What we did and what we saw there?
Yeah. So actually, this would be basically a way to differentiate users who want to log in or sign up. Because if you don't use an intro screen, by default, the first page that will open will always be the page with the page login tag. So one way to let the user sign up and register would be creating a link here, which you also have, or you could add this intro screen where you let the user choose what they want to do.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What else did we
Hmm.
have on here?
Then I guess this is the register form. Maybe Sahil, did you try implementing some of the authentication setups we provide, or you didn't arrive there yet?
Still
Just for
to
us
do
to
that.
know. Okay.
Still
Yeah,
to
that's
do that
fine.
step.
That's totally fine. Yeah, so basically you would create a form. Well, you have like several options, but if you want to use this, let's say, custom fields when registering the user, at the moment, what you can do is use the custom login to connect it to like any tool that is able to process the login part. Authentication part would be a backend tool like Channel, Bubble, or well, there are many. And then you could create like here as many fields as you can. And also something that actually will be coming soon in Bravo as a feature will be the possibility to add, as you have now the intro flow that goes like before the login, there will be a possibility to add kind of an onboarding flow after the login. So what you could also do is, if you want to use our Firebase integration, that at the moment it supports registering with your email and password, but you want to create like a more complete profile like this, you will be able to add it as well after the login. So after the after the registration with Firebase, that will be email password, you could bring the user to this form and before they go to the home screen. So that's gonna be another option available.
Okay.
One thing I should also point out, one of the big challenges a lot of people have is having too many screens. And when I first actually saw this, I thought it wouldn't actually import because it had so many screens. These limitations are often come from Figma. In terms of how we bring data into the API. So this is why trying to make the screens dynamic can really help. Fortunately, I think we just got in under the limit on this one, so it came in okay, but that's something you need to be a little bit aware of. Having too many screens, you don't want to have so many screens, and by making dynamic, you can kind of get away with that limitation a little bit.
Absolutely.
What other questions did you have, Sahil? Is there other things you wanted to go on your list?
Yeah. So I think maybe will it be more convenient for all of us to have a better overview of what the application is about, so that
that's a really good idea. So we probably should have started with that, shouldn't we? That was that's quite
we
remiss of
went
us.
straight into like the details. Yeah, true.
Do you want us to give an overview then?
Yeah, I think that will set the context, and even I will be able to.
Even if you want to share your screen, that's fine, as you want.
Well, actually, if he's sharing this file with you, as he should be able to change it remotely, right?
Yeah, well, this is the copy. So let me just open the kind of original one. So that one will be already with the changes you have. Let me just open it.
So
yeah.
my camera is a blurred camera. If I'm just, that's the right thing, correct? I mean, because what I'm seeing is a blurred image for
that's what we see
my
as
camera
well.
feed. Okay.
Yeah, we see the blurred thing. Yeah. This is the original file.
Right. Correct. So
yeah, so you can just go ahead and
so just quickly, what the application is about. Yugma is a Sanskrit word for joining, and basically Reyugma is something which is inspired from regional joining. So we want to encourage more regional collaboration of some efforts. Basically, the problem that we went in for is that today, when ideas or initiatives want more resources, such as expertise or skills for going to the next level, they have to rely on either managing freelancers or fundraising and being attractive on job boards. And that is the only route they have for access to human capital. What we believe is that this is not very ideal, because freelance deliverables itself may have some gaps, and fundraising cycles divert a lot of attention and resources. And then funders are also looking for initial traction, which may be compromised due to the missing competencies and what the what the initiative team is doing. So we envision a world where resource deficit pursuits are nurtured cooperatively, and thereby they become ripe to go to the next level. So, so Ryugma is mostly about intergenerational goal collaboration, where members grow teams and exchange skills and expertise in units of healthy hours. That's how they put out their goal, and they request and receive interested applicants to respond on those requests. And what the unit of transaction becomes is the number of hours that people are putting in. So it has its growth in a in a quite a dated concept of time banking, which began in 19th century, and uh, today the time banking groups exist in a lot of communities, 1500 plus communities. However, these are uh, these are less driven through a technological background, and we saw that there is potential to do that with what resources are available now. And Bravo has been a godsend in this case, because we earlier had yeah because honestly we earlier had about 7 months back we did a web application with but that did not catch on with the with the activity of users, engagement of users, because of again UI hurdles that we were facing. And uh,
Mhm.
and we found a great ease of use with the offering when we came across Bravo Studio and all of the combined tools which can empower this. So when a user is introduced here, definitely the intro screen is needing a little bit more work, and the suggestion of a post login uh, intro screens is fabulous. We are also working on the pre-login intro screens
Mhm.
uh, for the user to get into the mode of actually data entry, because the first form itself is pretty long. So after the sign up, the user comes to a menu tab where the default option we will be keeping as the insights page. So the
Mhm.
insights page presents the overall activity that the community as a whole is carrying out. It gives the community an entire dashboard. So you want to use the pie chart and bar chart functionalities here
Yeah,
to
true. We saw that that's also another feature you're having here, so
Yeah,
that's
that's
cool.
great.
Mm.
right. Right. So this gives the community a an overview of what all the members combined, what they have achieved, and what they are working on. Uh, so by exchanging of helping hours, and on the menu tab, the second uh, second option leads to the overall requests which are active in the platform right now.
Mhm.
Then yeah, so these
Oh yeah,
requests.
here. Okay.
Hmm. So these correct. So the requests uh, itself get gets is taken to the intro where we ask which requests, particularly for guidance or for skills, are the is the person interested in. We wanted to carve out a space for experts out here who can directly go to guidance related requests because they have less time on hand, and freelancers and other talented people to jump into the skills domain when they want to earn more healthy hours. So yeah, the next screen indicates what is displayed when when the list is empty, and we
Yeah,
want to like
true. That's
minimize
also another feature, the page states.
right.
Hmm.
That's great.
Correct. Right. So and
It's very cool.
going onwards, we then thank you so much. So going onwards, based upon selection, they will be diverted to the display of skills-based requests or expertise-based requests, and the
Okay.
request
Hmm.
itself will be having its own detailed page.
Yep.
So this is the list and detail uh, uh, as a structure which is well elaborated and well provided by Bravo. So here will be the usage of the multi-screen input will become applicable, where binding of different elements from different requests is what I have to fulfill right now.
Yeah.
Uh, so this will be drawing this data from two tables separately,
Yeah.
and an audience member has the functionality to express an interest to work or express an interest to guide, based on the original request nature. And so I think the this will also help me in the initial the API call suggestion will also be applicable for these screens, which I can put on the requests page itself. The view requests for guidance pages, there are two tabs which are taking to different request listing pages.
Where is that, sir?
Yeah. So on the left, if we
Yep.
the
Here.
suggestion for going to different forms, slightly
Uh,
above, Javier. Yeah. So this requests
oh, okay. Yeah.
list. Yeah. So the suggestion for going to different forms will also continue to apply to this. This is also optimize the screen numbers just to.
Yeah, you could potentially get
Mm.
these down to one set rather than two sets.
Yeah. Right.
Potentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, you could have this like, I mean, if you put this statically, you can even use the how is it called, the hidden inputs. That's something we use, for instance, in our Stripe tutorial to bind like the amount of money a product costs, and you could even use that to populate data into these screens. So
the way the hidden input works is that basically something you set in Figma. You put a tag inside a certain container, and then when you click within that container,
Correct.
the hidden input is then passed through. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
yeah,
Correct.
Sounds good.
Which was exactly the Stripe tutorial
Of
mentioned the
course,
same steps.
yes, because you
Yeah.
have that in the Stripe part, don't you? Okay, but yeah,
right.
so basically you could use
Right.
that for these to make these forms dynamic, so you don't have to repeat them.
Correct. Noted. And continuing basically from the request page, from the request detail page, when the express interest is executed, that command is executed, they go to a form for providing their skill set and their reason of interest, and also how much I mean what is their bandwidth to provide for that particular pursuit. So then and the starting date. Now here there's a parent-child relationship which is applicable because requests will have multiple interests expressed, and and each goal will have multiple requests expressed. So basically the request creation happens on another goal page, which will be slightly above, and here so there is that input hidden variable getting passed on for these trees, for across these screens, for the parent-child relationship to remain intact. This is also a thought process which I had one doubt on to clarify, which I dropped an email about the list of questions. So I hope we're reading this okay, that when from one request detail page, if I pass on its request title or a request ID,
Yeah.
it gets read into the interest page. Okay.
There is one caveat on that, in that you need to make sure that each sort of variable name or parameter is unique, because what tends to happen is you could get, for example, if you had ID at one level, at say the list, and then ID at the detail, then you're going to have the most recent one. So
Yeah.
this is why we enable you to rename variables, so that when you read it out of one API, if it's likely to collide with another one, you can change the name of it in the data binding, so that you don't have that collision issue, and you can keep more unique all the way through, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Certainly. Sure. So so yes, then the user is able to send the interest for that respective request, and the received interests are shown to the user in the third tab on the menu screen. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah, so
oh,
this,
sorry, the
well,
fourth
I
tab.
cannot
Sorry,
see the links, but
the
how
fourth
is,
tab. Yeah.
okay, this
Okay.
one. And where is the screen?
The bottommost row, please. The bottommost row. Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah.
Right. Right. So if nobody has responded yet, it shows up a blank screen, uh, and
Okay.
otherwise it shows up the list of interests which are received with the request title. Uh, so if a member has multiple goals, multiple requests, they will all have uh, the associations carried along. Now, for these associations, also, I mean, more optimal would have been that container in container request, which is already there in the platform. Uh, like if all of the interests for one particular request getting, basically sort of an accordion menu for different requests, which would have maintained. So that I think there's a container and container request which is there in the platform in the community, and that is what uh, I will change it to when we go live with it. So yeah, and so then they look at the interest, and they have already received the contact details of the person. So
Yeah.
we will drop in an email that we encourage you to call the person, call or drop an email to the person who's interested to before you go ahead with assigning the work. And if the work gets assigned, this is a state change, a toggle. So right, the default is no, and the the selected stage becomes a yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah. So
This is a great showcase for a lot of
Yeah.
the features of Bravo. You've done a lot.
Yeah,
You've got a lot of things in here. It's great to
definitely.
see.
How long have you
thank
been
you.
using the tool, more or less? Just for us to know.
So I mean, we had a lot of Figma thought process ready earlier.
Okay.
Version
Okay. Yeah.
was multi-user version, but that multi-user thing was, not very compatible with a lot of backends available. So then we made it a, sorry, multi-user role, uh, multi-role. Yeah. So yeah, more time spent on Figma, and Bravo then has been like the tutorials and all. We have been absorbing them and making the tweaks for about you know, 5 weeks now.
Okay, no, that's
That's
great.
cool. Nice.
Can I ask, have there been any things, features that you'd like to see that you got stuck with, or that we don't have that you need? It's always good to hear about things that how we can
Okay.
improve.
So I mean, one thing which came along was the number of screens, which was becoming a little bit messy on how many requests have been bound, how many requests have been created in from the backend, the request calls. So on the screen page, and I had recently posted a request for the screen page to have a little bit tags which can indicate as to how many in the Bravo Studio environment when you look
Yeah.
at a project. So if the screens could carry a tag on how many calls are bound, how many elements are, and and an overview of all of the requests which have been like programmed but not bound to any elements. I mean, a little bit of a progress because of the number of screens and
Yeah.
the need to step into the screen binding mode every time. And so I'm keeping a diary and a pen along with me right now to to make sure what I've done, what I've not. I think that is a uh, UI change which is possible to uh, ease this workflow. Yeah, and I mean, this
Interesting.
was one request which
That makes
I
sense.
was.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I know I've had that problem before, particularly when you're doing a number of screens which are similar. you end up not quite sure where you are with everything, and having that displayed would be quite handy.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah. So far, I mean, that's what I've observed. I'll keep on this activity on the community to keep on sharing more inputs,
Great.
whatever strikes me.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's about it for this thing. So whenever the user has basically done a mark as done, then the transfer of that number of hours happens, and like user A loses that 10 hours and the user B gets that 10 hours. So that's a back end processing which is going on.
Yep.
So the status, yeah, the toggle is linked to the backend logic, and uh, the account statement then reflects in the user's own profile. So basically, what we see in the interests screen,
Mhm.
that on the top right, the profile
Yep.
will lead up to the current user, and
Yep.
so this is
So
there on all of the
to
this is
this
there on
user
all of the
profile.
menu screens. Yeah, so on the top right, if you could, yeah,
Yeah, I think it's this one, right?
right hand side. Sorry, middle right. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here. So,
Yeah, it's. I mean, the thing is, I cannot see the
uh,
link, so it's a bit complicated. But anyway, it's fine.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So
No
yeah,
problem. You can
besides the
also,
payment screen,
yeah.
besides the payment screen, there is the yeah.
Yeah,
So this
this one,
user
right?
profile
Yeah,
basically,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So it shows the available hours that the person is having. So everybody gets a few hours when they log in and sign up, and
Mhm.
after that they are able to use the hours uh, on the platform. Then when they want to recharge, like if they're not helping enough and they still just want to give a booster shot to their account, uh, they can buy the hours, and yeah, so the profile basically is a dynamic profile which keeps on growing with their activity in the as on they so it was a duplication of testimonials which we see on a lot of platforms, because here basically with the mark as done, with the work already done, the uh, the the profile carries that your badge along with you, that you have helped out ABC for XYZ. Yeah, so uh,
Sounds good.
Very cool.
yes.
Yeah.
So, and the questions you've got, have we answered all of them that you had? Have we covered off everything that we had in that list?
Let me check. I think we've been talking through all the questions. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Brilliant.
So, Sahil, do we help you? Do we feel like you've made some progress on this? Is that giving you some ideas how to make it better?
Oh, certainly, most certainly, yes. This is, I was also looking for more more inputs on how this thing could be improved, and getting it directly from the horse's mouth is great.
That's really good to hear. Well, I mean, as I say, you've got a lot of great features in here. So it's nice to see people really using the power of Bravo. So thank you for doing that. And I think if anyone else has any other designs they'd like us to do, if they can send it through to the link I put into the chat, we'll try and do another session another time and do some more of our Bravorizing and helping people convert their designs into actual apps.
Yep.
Very good. Javier, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I mean, I think that's it. As you said, Toby, I think it's quite a good example, and you, Sahil, have done a very good job of like learning the tool first in like 5 weeks, I think you said, and being able to combine many of the features. So that's very good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, still a bit way to go, and the community is so very helpful. I'm uh, will hopefully see this live on App Store and share with everybody.
That'd be great. And by the way, when you use the community, ideally, if you ask a question, you should answer a question, so everybody learns a bit more. So you always try and make sure that everybody helps to help each other out. That'd be the best way of getting it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Sid, for your time. I hope that was useful, and yeah, let us know how you get on with your app.
Thank you so much.
Okay.